Cosmopolics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, Bo Vintage, and today is a story time, of course. So let me get into the details of the story. In 2010, I was in co-op in high school, and so I was doing my 5th year, and I decided that what I was going to school for was fashion business management. So I had to take a course, or I was doing co-op, and I decided to do retail co-op, right? So in my opinion, retail is not a career. I don't care if you're the manager or what, like, it's not a career to me. Like, I just feel like it's $14-15 an hour. Like, it's not really a career unless you're like working at head office, then it's just a job. I was in the co-op program, and I was doing my co-op at a store called Dynamite. They fucking loved and hated me at the same time. I've always had an attitude. I still got an attitude to this day. It just is what it is. But I didn't have an attitude going into the co-op. That wasn't the case. So let me give you guys the background story on Dynamite, because yeah, basically when I was doing co-op at Dynamite, all I was doing was helping merchandise. So I would help do the floor layouts, and I would also do a lot of stock. So I would basically be receiving the boxes early in the morning. I think I used to start at like 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. I would get all the boxes and unpackage the boxes. There would be days when there's only 10 boxes, and then there would be days when there would be 30 boxes, and I was the only person doing stock. So I was basically being used and abused, yeah, but it was co-op, so I didn't really care. I was getting my hours, and that's all I was there for. There was a manager there. We're gonna call her Stacy. Her name is not Stacy, but whatever, we're gonna call her Stacy. And Stacy would always give me jobs that were way out of the area and the territory that I was supposed to be working in. Like, these jobs were way above my non-paid pay grade. Like, in co-op, you're not getting money for shit, you're getting hours. So I was doing co-op, and Stacy would give me jobs that she's supposed to do, because she was literally the most horrible manager ever. So a lot of times after co-op, you're supposed to, or you can get employed there, but I did not want a job there, because I was just like, one, I don't really fuck with the clothes, and two, I mean, Stacy was crazy. So Stacy would always give me these jobs to do that she was supposed to be doing. She basically passed off her workload onto me, and she was like literally just a fucking bimbo. Like, she was a ditz, and I could not stand her, but I had to get my hours, so I was there and I would do what I was supposed to do. And if she gave me a job that I wasn't supposed to do and somebody else that was working there found out, they're like, what, why are you doing this? And I'm like, Stacy told me to. And they're like, no, you're not supposed to be doing this. I'll talk to Stacy, blah blah blah. So that's not really important. That's just the backstory on how I got the job that I'm actually going to tell you guys about. But yeah, so I was doing my co-op there, and I kind of became cool with one of the girls that worked there, and she's like, oh, I can see if I can get you a job at Garage, because Garage and Dynamite are sister stores. And so I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. Garage clothes I didn't really fuck with, but I kind of fucked with it because they were more. Garage is like the baby sister of Dynamite. Dynamite's like, if you want to go get, well, now they have more club stuff there, but if you want to get work clothes, that's where you would go. And if you wanted casual clothes, then you would go to Garage. It's more for like the younger people. So it's kind of like Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch. So that's basically what it is, 2 joint stores. Nancy was the manager over at Garage. So the girl that I was cool with at Dynamite called Nancy and was like, I have a co-op student, Ray Tay 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 Tay. Nancy was like, oh cool, it's hiring time. This is like October, November. And she's like, okay, I'll set up an interview with her, tell her to bring her resume, all that. So I did. I got the job like that. Super excited. I'm like, yay, this was like my first retail job, and I got it so easily because I was already working in the company. Basically, I just wasn't hired on payroll. Now I have a job, everything's good and dandy. When I get a job, for the first 3 months, if the probation is 3 months, bitch is on her best behavior. I was on my best behavior. I was never late. I showed up on time. Well, that's the same damn thing. I was never late, showed up on time, whatever. I showed up way earlier than I would be starting. If they needed a shift covered, I was your girl, okay? If somebody said, because I was trying to get my coin. Like, y'all know I don't play with my funds. So I was trying to get my money. So if they were trying to find somebody to cover a shift, I was like, hell yeah, I will cover your shift. Like, a lot of the girls, when you're working at a place for a long time, you're easier to give up your shifts. So a lot of the girls that were giving up their shifts would call me and ask me if I could work it, and I'd be like, hell yeah, because I needed a fat check, especially for my first check. So I decided to, in fact, take the shifts. And so I was just like a star model employee. Plus I could sell my ass off. Like, legit, if people come into the store, I could sell salt to a snail, honey. So, you know, I was the bomb.com at selling, and they really liked me. The thing about working at Garage, and the location I worked at was Scarborough Town Center, the thing about working there were a couple things. One, theft was high as shit. Two, because of working in an environment when it's all females, it can get petty, it can get catty, it can get ugly real quick. And there were times that it did. But the other issue was, the people that they had in management, like Nancy, didn't know how to run their store, and it was just a mess. It was every day there was new gossip. Like, it was such a tragedy. Like, it was horrible in that aspect. And so I definitely felt like the store needed testosterone, but because we didn't sell men's clothes, there weren't any, like, no guys are gonna apply to that store unless they are, you know, gay or whatever. And because we were not downtown, like, the downtown location does have men working there, but technically you're supposed to wear the clothes or wear something that looks similar to the clothing. And so, I mean, a guy can't really do that in the store. So we didn't have any male employees, but we definitely needed some testosterone up in that bitch. Because speaking of that, once my probation was over and I felt like they can't, like, retail is really hard to get fired from. So once my probation was over, I kind of, like, could relax and start to be myself. I was still taking shifts and whatnot, but then I found that when it was time for me to, if I needed to do something and I didn't want to work that shift, or the shift was inconvenient or inconveniencing my life, I would offer my shift to somebody that I've covered before, and these bitches were refusing to take my shift. I was like, oh hell no, because you owe me one. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, kind of thing. But it wasn't going down like that. So that started to rub me the wrong way. You're supposed to dress for the season, and we had certain days where it'd be like pajama day and you'd wear your Garage pajamas. You could wear track pants that day, but any other time you're not allowed to wear track pants, and blah 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 blah. As a black woman with a body, my clothing became an issue, because somebody like Vicky, who's skinny and white, that's not curvy, if she wears the shorts that we sell in the store, which we're encouraged to wear, it's not an issue. But if it comes to me, who does have a body, and I am thick at the bottom, like, it was an issue, and I would get in trouble for wearing certain shorts, or just, like, you know what I mean? Like, and so when they tried to page me about that, I'm like, are you guys fucking sick? You're not about to tell me that I can't wear this, but she can. Because at the end of the day, this comes down to race, and I ain't about to go there with y'all, and you guys are definitely not about to go there with me. So a lot of times I would get written up for dumb shit. Like, I would get written up for wearing the shorts that we sell at the store. I'd get written up for not wearing the shorts that we sell at the store. So it was like, what do you guys want me to do? So at this point now, I was full blown Brie. I had an attitude all the time now, and so I hated going to work. And so this is maybe like a year in. This is not like right after the 3 months. This is like a year in, after I got a feel for everybody. They didn't hire a lot because we had a pretty big staff, and the hours were definitely affected. That was another one of my issues. The hours were doo-doo. Like, when I first started, I had all these hours, and as the time went by, my hours started to lessen and lessen, and then it got to the point where they only want to schedule me 3 hours a motherfucking week. Bitch, I have bills to pay. Like, 3 hours a week is not even keeping my cell phone on, so if you guys have me on call, know that I won't be picking up. Yeah, so it got to the point where I had only 3 hours for the week, and people that started after me were having more hours than me, and I had a big issue about this. And so obviously a part of it was my fault. I'm not gonna say it wasn't my fault, because I did have an attitude, but because of how the store was structured and because of all the drama that was going on in the store, it was really driving me to shit. And I'm just like, I can't even do this. Like, I was bothered that I only had 3 hours, but at the same time I was like, okay, good, because I don't want to tolerate these people anymore. Anyway, they're so fake. I think 2 assistant managers, and then we had a bunch of freaking supervisors. You guys, the only people that can get 40 hours were those people. And so because we had, like, there's probably about 5 managers, assistant manager, and supervisors, like, combined. There's probably 5 of them. That's taking up most of the hours for the week, because they all have to have at least 40 hours. They're all full-time. And so basically why I was only getting scheduled 3 hours is because we had about 17 people on staff, and they had to divide however many hours they had for the week between the rest of the girls. And so if you have the 5 managers and then 17 other people to get hours, they ain't gonna be that. So there's not gonna be enough hours to give to a staff of over 20, right? So of course a lot of us did get the shitty end of the stick, and I'm not the only person. Like, my friends that the people that I used to work with, that I'm still friends with, will tell you how bad it was. Like, working at Scarborough Town Center Garage was horrible. Horrible. Anyway, back to Stacy, because this story is ultimately about Stacy ass, and I'm changing her name for the purpose of the video, because, you know, she's obviously still employed somewhere, and I ain't trying to, you know, I don't want the police knocking at her door or nothing like that. So, you know, tell the story with her name being Stacy. So anyway, Stacy was like really weird, and she would always rub her nose. No lie, I'm not even making this up. Like, she would always rub her nose or like go like this, and I was just like, bitch, what is you on? Like, always. Okay. Oh, one of my problems too, before I even tell you guys about Stacy's ass and what happened with Stacy and why the bitch quit. One time I got pink eye, you guys. I got pink eye. I'm not the type of person to, like, I'll call in sick and just blame it on my cramps, but I'm not gonna make up the fact that I have pink eye. Like, I really had pink eye. So they had because I had pink eye, I had to be missing for a bunch of days. And so I called them and told them, look, I have pink eye, I won't be at work for blah blah blah. And they basically told me, no, you need a doctor's note. I'm like, no. At this point, I'm on the phone with fucking labor board, because you guys are not about to request a doctor's note for me when it hasn't been 3 days. I'm like, I'm not bringing a doctor's note. You guys can suck my ass. I don't give a fuck. So instead, what I did was I went, because I had to go to the doctor. I did, but I'm not paying $20 for a doctor's note. I'm just not doing it when I'm actually sick. Like, you pay for a doctor's note when you're not sick and you just need an excuse. Like, that's when you pay for your doctor's note. Other than that, you don't need to pay for a fucking doctor's note. Some doctors are chill as fuck and will give it to you for free, but mine was not. I had to pay $20 for my fucking doctor's note. So I was like, nah, I'm not paying $20. Fuck you guys. This is what it is. I had to pick up a polysporin eye drop from over the counter, or I don't know if it was polysporin, but like, it was prescribed to me, a pink eye medication from over the counter. So I had to go bring my prescription, get it filled, and then I had my medication to take. When I say it, my pink eye was so bad, my eyes were crusty as shit. Like, I should not have been leaving my house, but I was so livid that I had put my sunglasses on, no makeup, nothing, because you can't wear makeup if you have pink eye. So I put my sunglasses on, traveled my little 15-20 minute trip all the way to Scarborough Town Center, and I said, doctors note this, bitch. Here is my fucking medication. It has my name on it. This is what it is. I'm not bringing you guys a doctor's note. I took my sunglasses up and I said, do I still need a doctor's note now? And they're like, it's okay, well. And I was like, no, it's not okay, because you guys tried it. Like, no. Anyway, That's it. So I had a lot of problems when I was working there. I did, because bitches are stupid. Okay, we had this thing called on-call. So basically, if you're on call, that means that you have to have your whole entire schedule cleared, or you have to be willing to work around your work schedule just in case you get called in. And you have to call. You have to call 2 hours or an hour before your shift and say, hey, do you guys need me? If you are on the schedule on call. I was on the schedule. I don't know if it was a weekend. I don't know what it was, but I just knew I didn't want to go. And I called, and they weren't sure if they needed me or not. I guess it was busy that day, but they weren't sure. So they told me to call back. No. You guys need to be sure. That's what the fuck the schedule is for. You guys should be able to tell if you need me or not. Time goes by, I don't call them. They start trying to call me. So I do answer, because I'm not going to ignore it. I'm like, what's good? So they tell me that they need me, and I'm like, well, I called already, and you guys didn't have an answer for me, so no, I'm not coming in. I can't, like, my life does not revolve around fucking garage. Like, I am not going to be on call. And I know that's the job, like, don't try to, like, I get it, like, you know, but one, I was young, didn't give a fuck. It's not like I was paying rent or anything like that. So the money that I was using was literally just money to buy stuff and pay my phone bill and my credit card. But I didn't have rent to pay, so it wasn't a big deal to me. First of all, if you're gonna give me 3 hours for the week, you should have thought about that before. Like, if you were about to give me 3 hours, that's what you're giving me. Don't put me on call, because you're disrespecting me. I was like, nah. Fuck your 3 hour shifts. Like, you guys aren't gonna call me in now that you're in panic mode because your store's too busy and you need a top seller. Like, nah, I ain't coming. Fuck y'all. Hold on. I caught an attitude with her on the phone, and I was like, you guys do not call me. Like, I'm not coming in. You guys only want to give me 3 hours for the week, but then now that you guys need somebody, I'm the first person you call. Like, no, call somebody else. I'm not coming in. Act like I'm sick. They're like, you can't call in sick if you're the on-call. How the fuck you gonna tell me I can't call in sick? If I'm sick, I'm sick. You guys, like, there's nothing you could like, no. I think she hung up on me, and the thing was, me and her were cool. Like, the associate manager and me were cool. We're gonna call her Alexis. So because there was a frig, man, all these names I'm trying to use, somebody worked there with that name. Okay, so the associate manager, we're gonna call her Caroline. She and I were cool. We were, like, legit cool. Like, she was one of my favorite people that worked there. I was like, oh, finally somebody with sense works at garage. So I was kind of pissed that she had an attitude with me, and she was pissed that I had an attitude with her. It was a big misunderstanding on both of our ends, but the fact of the matter is that we both had an argument on the phone. She hung up on me. I was like, oh hell no, this bitch did not just hang up on me. Now I'm really not going in, and that was the end of that. So of course, for my next shift, I already knew it was going down, and so I knew I wasn't gonna get fired, but I knew that they would definitely try to page me. And so I get there for my next shift. I'm working. Stacy's there on her day off, which means that something real serious is going down. But Stacy didn't know that I had it out for her, honey. She had no idea. So basically, Stacy calls me and the other associate manager in the back room to have a little chit chat. The only thing that she didn't know was that me and Caroline had already spoken about it. I had already apologized to her. She apologized to me. We were cool. She didn't know that. And the reason she didn't know that was because she was never filled in on anything that went down in the store, because one, she don't know how to run her store as a manager, and she was the actual manager of the store. She didn't know how to run it. She didn't know all the drama that had her name. People were beaking her name, you guys. Like, I never worked somewhere where so many people are talking shit about this person in my life, being that person is the manager. Like, I get nobody really likes managers, but at the same time, it was just like everybody was so fake and phony and kind of kikiing and laughing with her, but had all this shit to say about her because we could not stand the way that she operated. But me, I don't pretend for shit. Like, if I don't like you, I don't like you. Like, I'm not about to pretend. I will shade the fuck out of you. Like, hey, no, we don't do that. We don't. Stacy calls me and Caroline into the back room to have a little chit chat. Nobody's allowed in the back room when this is going on. I see she has her little papers and whatnot, and she's ready to take your girl to court. But I was ready. Like, I am the lawyer, I am the jury, and I am the judge, honey. So you are not about to take me to court, honey. I'm about to take your ass to court. Be careful. Be careful when you come for me. She brings us in the back room. She has her papers. She starts saying how what happened this weekend was unacceptable. You are not being a team player. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And so she basically, when you get a write-up, you are supposed to sign it. If you do not agree with your write-up, and please y'all take a note, if you work retail or if you work anywhere and they try to write you up and you don't agree with what they're saying, you do not have to sign it, because when you sign the write-up, that means that you're agreeing. All the other times that I got written up for like wearing shorts or other shit, I would always sign it because I didn't understand my rights, and I didn't understand that I didn't have to sign it, and I didn't understand that if you sign it, that means you're agreeing with the fact that what you did was wrong. I already had my conversation with Caroline, so I was just like, bitch, this had nothing to do with you. You weren't even here. You're not, like, she hung up on me. I would never disrespect somebody that way, especially not an employee, like 2 employees. Like, I'm not gonna hang up on you. I don't give a fuck. We can argue, we can have an attitude. I'm not hanging up, because that is the same, like, to me, when you hang up on somebody, that's equivalent to spitting on somebody. Like, you ain't shit. She disrespected me or whatever, and we hashed it out. We were cool. I already did that with her, so this whole conversation that you're about to have with me is irrelevant. So I'm there, sitting there with my face straight, staring at her. She's talking her piece, saying her whatever, saying that I'm getting written up for that, this, that, and the third. And I was just like, but I'm not getting written up. And she was just like, okay, but what do you think we're sitting back here for? And I'm like, because you want to have a talk with me, but I'm not getting written up because I'm not going to sign this paper. And she's like, she's basically trying to tell me I don't have a choice, whatever. Fast forward. So she was basically telling me, if you are on call and we call you, it is your job to show up and be a part of the team and help the team to prosper. And I was just like, don't tell me anything about teamwork, because you don't even know half the shit that's going on in your store. So if you're gonna talk to me about this, then you need to reevaluate your whole entire team and figure out who the hell is talking about your grow up. When I say her face went stone, you guys, her face went like this. She was silent for, it felt like fucking 3 minutes, but then she went, what grow up? Bitch, don't try this. You know exactly what grow up I'm talking about. I said, yeah, and the fact that you brought weed brownies to work to give to Sasha, but I never said anybody's name, but I'm telling y'all, this is basically what it was. How you brought your weed brownies to work to give to Sasha. How you think that looks? And of course she's just gonna act crazy and deny it, but Caroline, who was sitting beside her, had a motherfucking asthma attack, and Caroline will attest to this. Like, if I told you guys her Instagram, she would fucking say yes. The bitch went into her locker to get her puffer. She could not breathe. She was in utter shock that I fucking came for the lady and told her about her grow up. Did you guys subscribe yet? The girl that was talking about, because the girl, Sasha, that had gone to Stacy's house. Oh my god, Stacy? Nancy, bitch, I've been fucking up this whole time. The girl that had gone to Nancy's house, and sorry that I mixed up Nancy and Stacy. This whole time I've been saying Stacy, I've been saying Nancy. Stacy worked at Dynamite. Nancy is the manager that worked at Garage. The whole time Sasha had this fake ass friendship with Nancy, and because she didn't like her, she decided that she was going to tell everybody Nancy's business, and she told us about this grow up. She told us that she brought her weed cookies and cupcakes and whatever from her home, and that when she went to her house there was this big ginorm door or closet or whatever, and it was locked or whatever, and Nancy and her boyfriend have a huge grow up in this room, and they went into the room and she got the weed for her because Sasha smoked weed or whatever, and she was her dealer. She was dealing weed. Not only was she dealing weed, but she was dealing weed at work. So it was just like, I know. I know. And so I was like, you know exactly what grow up I'm talking about, the one at your house. And I described her house to her. I said, the one, you know, the one with the closet, blah, blah. I described everything, and she had nothing to say. At this point, the conversation was over. I said, so guess what? I'm not signing this paper. You can sign the paper, but I ain't signing this paper, and if you come for me again, you already know what time it is. Done deal. So shortly after this, I guess because if you have a grow up and a lot of people know where you live, you're definitely in jeopardy. We get our pay stubs to work, so her address is on the pay stub. I mean, if somebody wanted to have a home invasion or fucking rob her, they definitely could. So she made it a very quick executive decision and decided to quit. She literally quit a week after this all went down, and she ended up moving to a store called Journeys. And that was the end of Nancy. Like, don't ever in your life try me, because I will get at your life. Like, you're not. Let a nigga try me. I'ma kill us all up and finally, and I ain't playing with nobody. So that is the story on how I made my manager quit her job, because she tried it. Like, y'all ain't about to try, like, no, like, it's just not going down like that. I win, you lose. I went in there with the mindset that because I think it did happen on a weekend. I think I went in there with the mindset as if my next shift they tried to talk to me, I'm coming for Nancy's life. I came for her life, and she quit her motherfucking job. Because trust me, Garage was this woman's pride and joy. Anybody that worked there, like my friend Rocky will attest to this. She'll attest to this story. Everybody was in shock that this happened, and we were shocked when she quit, but she didn't have any other choice, because everybody at work knows that you're a fucking weed dealer now. You're dealing weed at work. If the fucking head office found out about this, like, they would have definitely had her head on a damn stick, and she would have lost everything. And so she made a very smart decision to quit, because if little old Bo comes for your life, it is your duty to quit. Like, bow out gracefully, bitch. Amen. Don't come for me. I think that's the moral of the story here. Don't come for me. Y'all already know. Anyway, you guys, I love you all. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I made the bitch quit her job. Like, she was a manager. This wasn't one of my co-workers working on the same level as me. This was the woman at the top. Honestly, it was a matter of time. They basically like threw me a party. Basically, everybody was legit happy and satisfied. And for a little bit after she left, the store was running pretty smoothly, but then that location, like, it just turned to shit. Like, we had so much drama, and after she left, we probably went through 6 managers. Like, it was a mess. We went through 6 different managers. Nobody wanted to stay at that location. Nobody could handle the girls there. Like, they couldn't handle us, y'all. We was a wreck. And anytime they hired somebody new, we gave it to them. Like, it was Mean Girls 2.0. Anyway, like I said, I do love you all. Make sure you subscribe, and I will definitely see you in the next one.